You're live.
Hey, what's up, all y'all trickly bastards? And welcome back to It's 1700 Somewhere. As always, I'm Athen.
I'm Cameron. Unfortunately, Chey will not be here today, so she got stuck at work. So,
Sorry, I was trying to share the show and I didn't realize we popped up live.
yeah, I thought we had 30 seconds, but for some reason it was like we were starting late for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Cameron, unfortunately,
And I've got to change my audio settings. So, Cameron, Shay's not here today, huh?
Chey's not here today, unfortunately. And don't forget, halfway through the show, it's the end of the vote.
Yes, the end of the vote. Alright, so that should be fixed there. So, what all we got going on today there, Cameron?
Well, I'm sure you've noticed I'm a little dressed up. Unfortunately, I ran late to an event. I signed up for Events and Adventures here in Houston, and we had a Sunday sushi day. So I went out to that real fast. It was a little late getting there, only about 10 minutes. Got there, and on the website it says, it's a formal type situation. It had a dress code, so I'm like, okay, I need to dress up a little bit. So I went, grabbed a good button up, got glossied up, as you can see, and then got there, and I'm like, I'm way the hell overdressed.
That's funny.
And then I tried to make it home in time to get, dressed down and not be as dressed up and fancy looking, but didn't really have time for that. So I still have my boots on and everything, but we had to get the show going. I made sure last night to try and get enough stories for the day.
So what exactly was that thing that you went to today? I'm sure you probably explained it, but
so I signed up for Events and Adventures, which it's like a singles dating thing.
Okay.
But, it's not like a website. It's all online. No, they have actual events. Like Sunday, they do sushi. They've got online things that you can go to. They actually like try and get together and meet instead of in groups, so you can find people that you have things in common with. So it's not just like dating. You can make new friends and stuff like that. And last week I was wanting to make a Guess Who game, which was on live. Unfortunately, my groceries didn't show up until later in hell, so I had to miss that one. I'm like, I gotta make one. I'm paying all this money for it. I gotta start making these events. So I got cleaned up. I set alarms, got dressed up, woke up early and headed out. And it was nice. It was interesting to say the least.
That sounds pretty neat.
So, okay.
I want to go out to some sushi. I've been wanting sushi lately.
So I had sushi for breakfast.
You had sushi for breakfast?
I had sushi for breakfast.
That's not the exact meal of the day that I would tend to want sushi for, but
it was weird. It was definitely weird having sushi for breakfast.
So, sorry, I got a little bit of sniffle. We're in harvest season out here in the Pacific Northwest, and if y'all know what that means,
pollen like crazy. We got probably another, I want to guess about a month before our pollen just screws everybody.
Mm-hmm. I've been sneezing and freaking just stuffy head for the last couple days because, like, for one, we've had all the smoke because of all the fires, and then now we're getting into harvest season, and so much pollen, and and part of the pollen is in the general area, like around me, within 5 miles of where I live, like all around me are like acres upon acres of hemp plants.
Oh, that's gonna be. Yeah, you gonna be blocked up for a few days.
Yeah.
But on that, let's go ahead and get into the show here, Athen. Starting us off, California. You know I love making fun of California. God,
Always.
you could be in the show later. Relax.
So we ain't got
But-
none of our regulars in yet today.
No, we don't. Our comments are kind of bland right now. It's a little weird.
So
But to start us off, I'm making fun of California because their governor is telling people they need to take or wear their masks in between each bite. So you're supposed to pull your mask down, take a bite, pull your mask back up. You've already got all these people handling your food. You've already got all these servers bringing your water, your appetizers, different things here and there. So there's not really any benefit to, and I mean, it's an open environment. So
it just seems like a joke to me. It's like they're going on trying to see how much stupid stuff they can actually just get us to do. Like,
I'm not going to do it.
So they're like, so we've already got them wearing masks whenever they go into the restaurant. They like wear it to the seat. How about now we just make them wear the mask between bites?
That's not going to happen.
No, dude, no, because that's like no one. I don't. No one eats like that. It's not habit to be like, pull down.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Especially if I'm like eating a steak and I'm having to cut it. Both of my hands are being used for utensils right now.
Yeah,
I'm not going to set something down, pull my mask up, chew for 4 seconds, pull my mask down, take a bite, pull my mask. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it.
No, it's just. But that's California for you.
Even when I go into restaurants, I'll wear a mask going in because you have to, and they'll turn you away if you don't. But when I leave, I'm already on my way out. You're gonna kick me out for not wearing a mask. What a coincidence! That's where I'm heading, anyways. Bye.
Right. So I don't know. I'm just not gonna. I'm tired of this. I have a feeling as soon as the freaking election is over and done with, we're not gonna have as many problems with.
I think it's gonna depend on who wins.
Yeah, I think that too, but I don't know. I think it's just after the election, it's not gonna be as big of a thing. So I think it's gonna start to die down some.
I agree. I think depending on who wins, it's gonna be like how H1N1 was, and it's gonna just disappear. Or Ebola, eventually they just stop talking about that. Stop, dude.
Just gonna ghost out.
Yep. But now that we've made fun of California, I'm gonna boost Texas because Texas has. Would you stop? Texas. Oh, what the hell? Why is there a commercial?
Huh?
Texas is indicting Netflix on felony charges because of their cuties promoting.
Yeah, I'd heard of that.
So if you don't know what cuties is, one, count your lucky stars, but unfortunately you're going to have to learn for the show today. Cuties is basically softcore child porn. If you look at their MD, I haven't watched it. I have no intention of watching it. I deleted my Netflix after that because there was a petition to have it not even put on Netflix. And there was over like 300,000 signatures that don't put this up here. And immediately after they did it, the Netflix CEO got busted for child pornography. But if you read the IMDb description of it, it lists like they're actually showing these children naked. These children are twerking. It's a sexual show, and these kids are 11 years old. Shouldn't have been. And they're like, oh, it's a French movie. It's a foreign film. This is acceptable. No, it's not. And you're retarded for thinking it is.
So the things that I've heard about it, so I didn't hear anything about there any nudity. I did hear it's like a movie about how there's this one girl, she like it's her lifelong dream to twerk and all that stuff, and it's following that whole thing. She wants to be like a professional twerker or something. I don't know. But
no, that's not. If that was it, that wouldn't be acceptable in my mind because it's still an 11-year-old kid.
At the same time, I'd heard it was there's Dean, but I'd heard that the whole thoughts on all of that is being taken kind of out of context, I suppose, is what they're saying, or some people are saying, because it's intended to bring light to that kind of situation, but since it is a French movie and their ages of consent and stuff like that are different, um, that's why it was filmed in France and it's a French movie and all that stuff, because they can get away with the more risque stuff like that. And I think that's where people are using that argument on. Have I watched it? No. Am I going to watch it? No. I think we talked about this last week too.
Right, but now Texas is actually holding an felony indictment, started September 23rd for promoting the lewd visual material against the peace and dignity of the state.
Mm-hmm.
One-page indictment received by USA Today states Netflix promoted, distributed, and exhibited material that depicts the lewd exhibition of the genitals of the public area of clothed or partially clothed child who is younger than 18 years of age for the current interest in sex. The document also states that the film held no serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value.
And it's like, I get where it's coming from, and in some states, even in America, it's not there's a variation, because some states age of consent's like 17 and 16, which it puts that kind of in a gray area for that kind of stuff.
There's still a 5-year difference on that age of consent, and even in France, I think their age of consent is like 16. So that's still, again, a 5-year difference.
Yeah.
Of what they're showing these kids compared to what the age of consent is. Even if the age of consent is 16, if a 20-plus-year-old is watching this, something's wrong with that. And again, the CEO got busted for child pornography.
Well, I'm thinking the most it's gonna really be able to do, as long as the kids in this movie are actually within that age of consent, because it's not like a documentary type thing. It's an actual movie. So maybe the girls in it are supposed to be 10, 11 years old or whatnot, but the actors playing them are within that age of consent range, which would then make it not child pornography. However, with that, it would still count as it in America. So I'm thinking the worst that can be done is like they can make it to where it's not able to, it's banned in America, basically. Because
I think Texas is going to start arresting people. I think Texas is going to arrest people, because even if they are 16-year-old actors, they're portraying 11-year-olds, and that's completely wrong.
See, I'm not arguing on that one right now. What I'm trying to kind of get in, like, think about is, it's like, are they committing a crime or not? And it's like, so if in the country or the jurisdiction where they filmed the movie and all that stuff, it was legal to do, then it'd be a little hard for them to be charged for it, as for a crime with it here in America, because they're following laws from another country. However, that would be distribution of child pornography.
Right, and that's why I think Netflix people, they can't charge the French people if that's how it plays out. However, they can charge Netflix. Whether it be they just have Netflix completely removed as a streaming service, or they arrest people who pushed this project. So I think Texas took a great move, a great step towards this, because again, we've seen that some of these elites are trying to normalize pedophilia, and Texas is basically putting its foot down, like, no, you're not going to do this to my state. And I don't California my Texas. We've got a woman that's lived in California most of her life running for governor in Texas, and she does not need to be in office. But now we're going to get into our funny stories, since we talked about some states. This is an older story, but I saw it on a meme last night, and I had to find out if it was real or not, because I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind how weird this story was. And again, looking at it, I thought this was a huge joke, but it's not. in 2019, September 17th, 2019, there was a massive semen, jizz, cum, whatever you want to call it, nut explosion after a blaze hits a bull artificial insemination facility. And the firefighters that were combating the fire were having to dodge basically flaming or flung loads at them. So can you imagine being a firefighter? You're trying to put out a fire, and all of a sudden, just this big ass glob of bull spunk plasters itself right to your helmet.
Yeah, right on your face. That splat. You're like, oh, it's so thick.
Like, I'd be going home like, nope, I'm off the clock.
And then,
Let it burn.
as guys, we know when it gets wet, like in the shower or whatnot, it turns into like a fucking glue. And firefighters are combating a fire with water, so that's got to be so horrible.
Like just walking around, you're sticking to everything. But this it happened in Australia and caused thousands of dollars in damage to at least 100 cylinders containing bull semen. Emergency services were called to the blaze in the early hours at Yarram Herd Services in Gippsland, Victoria. According to ABC, it took 10 fire crews more than 2 hours to fully extinguish the fire after it broke out at 3 a.m. A spokesman from the County Fire Authority told Daily Mail Australia that the fire had completely shredded the building. County Fire Authority, Gippsland Commander Chris, not even going to try that name, said the crew had to be wary of projectiles coming at them while they were tackling the blaze. The liquid inside the cylinders was rapidly expanding, and essentially the lids of the cryogenic cylinders were just popping off the top, and projectiles were being thrown from the building. So firefighters had to go into defensive mode initially to protect themselves because there were also LPG cylinders at the neighboring property, and they did a magnificent job. Chris added that he has never had anything to do with the artificial insemination side of things before during his career. Yeah, I don't know if I know for a fact I'm not staying at that firefight. Early retirement, I quit. I feel sick because it's one thing for a guy to handle his own spunk, but to deal with canisters that are blowing up and launching bull semen at you. And I mean, these cylinders are fairly large. So I mean, you can't. It's not going to be like, oh, it's a little dab here and there. No, it's hurling bowling balls of spunk at you.
Such a poor, sad event.
Even if I fight the fire, whatever uniform I wore that day and the clothes underneath are getting destroyed. Like, I'm not going to try to wash this. You got to get me some new gear.
The only one commenting, can't see it. Yeah, Dean, it seems like you might be the only person in the comments today. Like, I don't know, it's a rough showing today. We're not getting as many views as we typically do, and most of our normal viewers aren't here, which is weird. So, but
yeah, I need new equipment, everything.
So, but yeah, and then another thing with that is you got to kind of consider, like, first of all, how did they get all that bull semen? That's a lot of wasted effort.
It's an artificial insemination facility, so
I know, but no, what I'm saying is, you know how they get the semen? Like, they have to milk the bulls, so right. That's a lot of labor that was wasted.
Yes, it was. It definitely was a lot of wasted labor.
Imagine the person who
they say they lost at least 70% of their income due to the issues. So
imagine being the person who had to go through all the efforts of getting that stuff, only to realize now I got to do it again.
Yeah. And he's going to have to do it at double the pace because he's got to make up for what was lost.
Mm-hmm. I noticed the wizard pop in for a second a little ago.
I don't know what the hell happened there.
He was saying something, but couldn't hear him.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm going to make fun of some wacky animals as well. A French couple was looking into buying a Savannah cat, but instead received a tiger cub. October 9th, a French couple who purchased what they thought was an exotic Savannah cat from an online ad ended up turning the feline over to authorities when it turned out to be a tiger cub. Prosecutors in Le Havre said that the couple encountered the ad online in 2018, offering a baby Savannah cat, a cross between a domestic cat and an African serval, for sale. The couple paid $7,000 for the kitten. I'm not paying that much. I will adopt. Gunny was free. He chose my ass.
Well, so a Savannah cat, it's actually a really badass cat. It's like, it is.
But I'm not paying $7,000 for a cat.
Well, they're those kind of cats are worth it. Because they are a African cat, and they are a wild cat, and they are a large cat. So a Savannah cat will be, when it's grown, the size of like a medium-sized dog. They'll be almost as big as Gunny, right?
Right. I can. That's cool and all, but I'm not going to drop. I would rather drop $7,000 on a house payment, car.
Yeah, but
guns, ammo,
the thing. So the a Savannah cat. Also about it, like if you know what a Savannah cat is, if you're actually really wanting a Savannah cat, you're gonna know if you get they probably knew instantly that it wasn't a Savannah cat when they got it, because Savannah cats are like a light-bodied. They're kind of similar in sense. If you look at like a cheetah, they look like a really small cheetah, with a little bit of lynx mixed in because they have kind of tufts on the end of their ears and stuff like that.
That sounds cool and fine and dandy, but that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it is. Well, what I was saying is, I was because it kind of seemed like the story was saying that they didn't know that it was a tiger cub for a while, and then they eventually found out that it was a tiger cub. It's like, but if you were really wanting a Savannah cat and you knew what a Savannah cat was, you'd know right off the bat that it wasn't a Savannah cat. And Dean Cerny says $7,000 will buy a lot of beer and weed. And it's like, sometimes, I remember when I was in the Navy, I actually spent like $5,000 on a purebred fawn boxer. So, but that was like the dog and all his accoutrement and all that stuff. He was papered, registered, and all that stuff. They knew that he was championship line and all that stuff, and it was in his paperwork.
Yeah, I mean, if he can earn money back, that's cool, but it's still.
Thing is, he was the dumbest dog I'd ever had in my life. Like, you could not get that dog to stop shitting on himself.
Hey, Gunny, it sounds like your cousin. Now, our next wacky animal. Could you imagine, normally when you're asleep in bed, you're not worried about anything. Well, this escaped ferret climbed into bed and surprised a stranger. Completely wrong. But if I feel something slithering up my leg, because again, ferrets are like a snake-cat hybrid.
Mm-hmm. I have two.
Yeah, exactly. And if I felt that crawling up me, I'm going to think snake initially, and I'm going to go into a violent attack mode to get that thing out of the bed. I'm sorry about your ferret, it's dead, but it shouldn't have been humping my leg at 3 a.m.
I'm not going to think. Well, since I have ferrets and I am actually used to it.
You have them. Exactly.
So, it's
I do not. So if I feel something slithering up my leg, I'm thinking worst case scenario.
Yeah, I guess, because you're not accustomed to snakes or those kind of things. So it's like me being the fact that I have ferrets and I'm actually used to that happening, and then I've had snakes. It's like, because the ferrets, they have claws and all that stuff, and when they get in your bed and they're kind of wandering around at night, usually they're sniffing around, and you feel their whiskers and all that stuff as they're sniffing and all that stuff. And then I had one of mine.
Imagine being half asleep feeling this.
Right. I've had one of mine wake me up in the morning by biting my face. It didn't bite it really hard. It was hungry. But it came up, it was like sniffing around and like nudging my head, and it came up and like bit my face gently.
Yeah,
And I
it
was
was
like, what the heck?
that last straw. Like, hey, get up and feed me, asshole.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm going into attack mode, and getting whatever's crawling on me out of my bed and away from my junk.
you can get so fucked up that you think you have a Savannah cat, you don't have to clean the litter box the next day. You said because 7K will buy a lot of beer and weed. I guess that's,
That's accurate.
So, but yeah, I don't know if, because Savannah cats, I'm sure, are a type of cat that you can take out to go to the bathroom. I'm fairly certain they're less of a box trained type cat and more of a
Outdoor type.
outdoor type, because like they are more similar in nature to like a dog than they are a cat in general. Like they need to be on like a raw diet, and you feed them, like actual raw steak and shit.
So even more money. Got it. So if you want to own a Savannah cat, you got to have money.
Yeah.
Got it. Now we're going to make fun of a country because this hotel seeks to deal with guests facing jail over a bad review. Bangkok, a Thai island hotel, will go into mediation with an American guest who faces up to 5 years in prison after it fired criminal complaints against him over a negative online review. Both parties said on Thursday. This is actually a recent story. The case involving the Seaview Ko Chang Hotel and an American teacher, Wesley Barnes, has drawn new scrutiny to Thailand's criminal defamation and computer crime laws, which rights activists say are far too harsh. The Seaview Ko Chang said in an email that mediation has been set for October 8th, so it's not that recent, with Barnes, who works in Thailand. It seems the hotel is ready to settle, Barnes said in a message to Reuters. I'll meet with them next week to hopefully end this case once and for all. It would be wonderful to have it all behind us. Police said Seaview Ko Chang had filed a complaint in August after Barnes posted what the hotel described as false defamation reviews on TripAdvisor and Google after a row of over 500 baht or $16 corkage fee. The hotel said it had reported the reviews to TripAdvisor and that some of them were deleted by the site administrator. Barnes was detained on September 12th and released 2 days later after posting bail. Under Thailand's Criminal Defamation and Computer Crimes Act, he could be facing a 100,000 baht or $3,200 fine, as well as facing jail time. Barnes has defended reviews he had posted, saying the service had been bad and the restaurant manager was aggressive. He said TripAdvisor did not publish some of his comments. TripAdvisor also had temporarily suspended submissions of reviews of the hotel. So this is what happens when we don't have free speech, ladies and gentlemen.
Because I was gonna say here and say there's on a review, that's an opinion type of deal. So there can't really be any defamation in there unless you're, I find it hard to even kind of comprehend how you can at any form call a review defamation in any form.
Well, they didn't like it, and they made a defamation claim, and now he's looking at facing jail time.
It's like the only way I can think of that they would be able to kind of make that happen is if it was like just spamming negative reviews, like bot style spamming negative reviews.
I can imagine that.
That I could understand being pushing towards a defamation, because then it is an actual attempt at harming the business. But yeah, I don't know. That's weird. So let's see what Dean had to say. Bot, the closest thing to monopoly money in the world. Walk into a bar with 10,000 baht and think you're rich. Well, when I was in the Navy, one of my LPOs told me a story of how he went to Thailand, and he pulled out like $300 or something like that out of his ATM, $300 or $400, and like he was determined to spend all 300 of it. And he went in and he said he rented an entire floor on a hotel and was just going all out baller, and he still didn't spend the entire $300 that he pulled out for Thailand. I've never been to Thailand, so
Yeah, I have no intention of going after reading this article. Because if you're a crappy company and I leave a review, I'm going to go to jail. And we've seen that I speak my mind, so we know if it's crappy, I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah. So
I'm honestly tempted to write a review about it to see if they try and charge me.
Was the person a Thai resident? Like, did he live in Thailand or?
Yes, he did live in Thailand. He was a teacher. He was an American teacher over there. Teaching English.
Okay. So that I could see how they have the ability to be able to arrest them and all that stuff. But if like you're an American living in America and you do a review on their stuff, I would think they're pretty powerless to freaking.
Right, exactly. That's why I really want to post a review.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? Come to Texas and try and arrest me? Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Dean said he's been to Thailand and shit's crazy out there. So
now it's time for This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things segment. And we have 2 of them today.
Ooh.
Yep, we have 2 of them today. And one of them is a Florida man story. A pickup truck leaves Florida road and ended up in somebody's swimming pool. I can only imagine the owner of this was like, God bless America, the fat neighborhood kid jumped in my pool again. Go outside to look, and he's like, oh, it's not the fat neighborhood kid. It's a truck. And mind you, this pool is actually like fairly well done. It had a whole like greenhouse built around it. It had the plexiglass. It had structural supports, steel structural supports. So it was enclosed because Florida mosquitoes they burn.
That in the rain.
Yeah. So they wanted to have the pool be somewhat enclosed, and this pickup truck just plowed through it. This was on October 1st. The Florida Highway Patrol said a driver was not injured when his pickup truck left the road and ended up plunging into a resident's backyard swimming pool. The troopers responded Wednesday when a driver swerved off the road to avoid a disabled vehicle. The pickup truck crashed to the fence and ended up with its front end in the swimming pool. The 40-year-old driver was not injured in the crash, and drivers, FHP tweeted that drivers have to be alert for vehicles in the roadway. Our next one, another Florida man story. October 9th, a crane that was moving a shed falls through the roof of a Florida home. Firefighters in Florida said nobody was inside a Fort Lauderdale home when a crane moving a shed into a neighbor's yard collapsed and fell through the roof. Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue said the crane was moving the shed into a neighbor's backyard when it toppled over for some unknown reason just before noon on Friday. Battalion Chief Stephen Gollin said the family who lives in the home was away on vacation at the time of the incident, and firefighters rescued dogs and cats that were inside the home. In most of the living room area, the kitchen, living room, and dining room, the roof was just completely collapsed into the living space. We are very fortunate that nobody was inside the residence when it took place. The crane operator was treated for minor scrape to his arm. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why we can't have nice things.
So the crane fell into the house.
Crane fell into the house.
That's insane. And as you said, they're like, thankfully nobody was in the house. That's actually really good because that's a difficult situation. Dangerous. Extremely.
Because by the time you see the crane coming into your house, it's too late. Now, continuing on with Florida man stories. This Florida man was arrested for camping at the abandoned Disney World Island. This was on May 3rd. So this is a little bit of an older story. But due to the coronavirus shutdown, Florida was closed. And Disney World had been closed since the middle of March. But that didn't stop this man from camping inside the abandoned park on one of their islands. A 42-year-old Alabama man was arrested on Thursday at Disney World Discovery Island, telling deputies he was unaware that he was trespassing. He called the island a tropical paradise, according to Orange County Sheriff's Office. Deputies noted that there were numerous no trespassing signs posted. Authorities charged him with one count of trespassing, a misdemeanor, and he has also been banned from all Disney properties. According to the arrest report, the man stated he had made entry to the island to go camping on Monday or Tuesday and planned on staying on the island for approximately 1 week. Disney security first spotted the man camping on the island, which has been closed to the public since 1999. Deputies with the Orange County Sheriff's Office searched for him with a helicopter, boats, and on foot. The man told deputies he didn't hear them calling out for him on a loudspeaker because he was sleeping inside one of the buildings on the island. Discovery Island was originally called Treasure Island and is located in Bay Lake in Disney World. The 11-acre island opened in 1974 and became a zoo featuring 130 species of animals. Most are birds, but the park also has Galapagos tortoises and ring-tailed lemurs. The island has sat abandoned for 2 decades. Since then, various explorers have made unauthorized trips to see the decaying and overgrown buildings and posted the videos and photos online.
Huh. I'm just wondering why they shut down the island.
It's a good question.
Because that sounds like it'd be a pretty cool little attraction.
It does. Now, our last Florida man story, and last week we started doing our worst Florida man story of the what I could find. This one isn't as bad as what we had last week. It's not. So relax. It's not eating cockroaches and dying. However, this explains the stupidity and mindset of our Florida men. Because this Florida man wearing a shirt, "No, seriously, I have drugs" t-shirt was arrested for drug possession. Oddly, it wasn't the t-shirt that led John Balmer's arrest at a Kmart in Hudson, Florida, but it didn't help. When a Pasco County Sheriff's deputy walked into the store on Monday, he saw Balmer, 50 years old, try unsuccessfully to pass a bag of green leafy substance to a shopper in line behind him, according to the arrest report. Balmer then paid for his items, allegedly leaving a bag on the ground. When a clerk alerted the deputies, they found marijuana and methamphetamine in the bag. Where his arrest photos from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. The Sheriff's Office captioned the photo, "Pay close attention to the t-shirt." Balmer would have been wise to heed the advice before he left his house, but as David Moy notes in the Huffington Post, this isn't the first case of drug arrestees tempting fate with their shirts. In November, a Kentucky woman was arrested for meth possession wearing a "I Love Crystal Meth" t-shirt, and a month earlier, another Florida man was busted for carrying a bag of pot with a Monopoly-inspired "Go Directly to Jail" shirt. Now, again, and we've also covered a story where the bag said "drug bag" on it, and it had drugs in it.
Mm-hmm. Or it was like bag of drugs or something. Yeah,
bag of drugs, something like that.
Freaking is like so, but the bag that had in the grocery store, that doesn't sound like it's a very like large amount of like weed in it. So it's like if they're arresting the person just because there was the weed,
it also had meth.
Yeah, I mean the meth part, yeah. But if just because it has weed, if it's just a small amount, that's kind of stupid. But as soon as you mentioned the meth on it, I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's gonna be a felony charge.
Yeah. So if you're gonna be a drug dealer, don't be as stupid as our Florida man. And that has been our worst Florida man of the week.
Or you could just like not be a drug dealer.
Or that too. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me as well.
Of course, technically here in Oregon, it's legal, to an extent.
Now, in Pennsylvania, a bear was caught riding on top of a garbage truck. Could you imagine this? You go out, you go take your truck out, you dump trash and garbage, and then as soon as you go in to park it and go home for the night, you look up and there's just this big black bear chilling on top of the truck. On October 2nd, police...
How big a black bear?
What's up?
How big a black bear are we talking? Like a little bear, big bear, Kodiak bear? How big a bear?
It looks like
The fans wanna know.
It's about a 5 foot. It looks like it's about a 5 foot bear.
Excellent. All right, pimp out.
That's a tiny little bear.
It's not huge, but I mean, still looking up and seeing a bear on top of your garbage truck when you're trying to go home is a little.
It would be, yeah. You'd be like, oh well, fuck. Because
I'm off the clock. I'm going home.
Yeah, fuck it. No work for me today.
Yeah, I'm done for the day. Police in Pennsylvania came to the assistance of a sanitization crew when a garbage truck arrived at a police department with a hitchhiking bear atop it. The Kidder Township Police Department posted photos to Facebook showing the bear riding on top of a garbage truck that pulled into the department's parking lot. We can only assume it was sick of going for the small amount of trash in the garbage pails and went for the big prize, Officer Vincent Moreau told WNEP-TV. Police said the truck backed up against a tree and the bear safely climbed down on its own.
Yes, Dean, that was the pimp.
There was the go.
So, but yeah, I mean, a 5, 6 foot black bear. I mean, it's not a real young black bear, so that'll be probably pushing adulthood as far as that goes. But it's still like any bear can give you a bad day. I mean, unless it's a real young cub. But then you have to worry about mama that's somewhere around. So yeah, they can give you
how far you drove. Mama's like, where the hell is this little shit?
Yeah.
So, but we're getting through about half our stories, so I'm going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to go ahead. Mr. Carl, if you'd be so kind, our OSHA violations of the week.
And Dean, yes, that was the pimp.
Let's see what one I sent him 3 to post up last night. Let's see what Mr. Carl gives us first.
Oh, there it is. So
this one. So I personally have witnessed stupid people like this. Now, there's 2 problems going on. One, he doesn't have a shock pack on his back. And a shock pack is just a wrapped up, stacked up extension of cable that when it takes a large force, it extends out to try and reduce how much damage your body's going to take. Because if you fall, however fall you fall, you're looking at 1,800 pounds of force going against your body in specific areas.
So yeah, it's supposed to
reduce it down to like 500-600 pounds.
We got Rebecca Gray checking in saying hi.
Now, the other problem we have with this one, now, they did the right thing. They've marked off. He's somewhat correct because he is wearing a harness outside the working area. The working area has been roped off, which is allowed, but he's working outside the working area tethered to tape.
The caution tape.
That does you absolutely no good. If you've never dealt with tape, it takes like 2 pounds to tear.
But it does give you the appearance of being roped off.
It does give you the appearance of being roped off, and that's why people do it. Because
so that way,
from somebody looking up from the ground, it looks like your lanyard is trailing behind you. It is hooked up to something. It's sliding across something, so it's difficult to tell from the ground. So you can kind of get away with it unless the OSHA inspector is smart. Most of them are. So don't be this guy. When you rope off, appropriately tether off. Just get a yo-yo, find a shackle point, something. Don't do this.
He has a fuck OSHA sticker on his hard hat, Dean Cerny said. But it's like, so yeah, most of the OSHA people are pretty smart, but also if you're dealing with like large construction sites and large construction zones and stuff like that, most of the time OSHA's not like in there like
they're not really going
analyzing.
They're looking for big screw ups.
Analyzing everything.
And this does look like a fairly large because if you look at it, he looks like he's leveled off with the second floor stairs on the other side. So it looks like he's at least 2 stories up and working. So it'd be rather difficult to see. So judging off that, it's a fairly large construction site.
Yeah, OSHA's probably just going to drive by and be like, okay, yep, and just kind of look. As long as appearances fit, no one's going to really complain. So, yeah. But it is pretty stupid. I mean, if I'm wearing a harness, though, I'm going to make sure it's clipped off to something.
Then there's this one. Oh, Lord. This one made my head hurt a lot. Because typically when you're dealing with scaffolding, they interlock with each other. Mm-hmm. They have a locking mechanism. It's basically a pin that goes through, and then it's got another lock that sticks out for extra security. This guy stuck nails to a board on the inside, so the pole itself looks like it's barely on that board anyway.
Yeah.
So if we were to get shocked to the outside, it's going to go.
Yep. Unless they got some towed in there on the other side.
I don't see that. And they're nails which can be bent.
Mm-hmm.
And that board does not look like it's in the best condition.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty ragged board there.
So if you're going to use scaffolding, please use it appropriately and don't have, because we don't know what's on top there. I've seen scaffolding hold concrete, bricks, large stone, rebar, more metal structure supports. So who knows what's actually on top of this? If this thing goes and now it does look like a residential area, that is a house next door, but we can still imagine there being concrete, mortar, bricks, wood, tools. There could be so many things on there. So if it goes, whatever's on there is going to go with it.
I have to wonder, why would they have intentionally done that, though? What's the purpose of it? And this seems like it might actually be in America, too, because, first of all, it's Snapchat, OSHA approved. That seems, like it might be, in fact, be America. And then also, is that a glass back basketball hoop right there?
It is.
So, yeah, this is almost definitely America, then.
And then looking at the house designs as well, that looks like American style home.
So, I'm just wondering what the hell is the idea of them setting the board up like that?
What I think what a lot of people don't realize is even houses like this, if you do work on your own house and OSHA pulls up, you still have to comply with some OSHA OSHA rules. OSHA runs any construction ever.
That's on the outboard side of the scaffold. So that board is just either just dangling off there, or and there's another one down this towards the bottom of the picture. So it's obviously acting like a bridge for something, maybe a bridge over to whatever they're working on, or another scaffold. But why not just put the board in the middle?
If you look up, there's a cross brace, and there's probably another cross brace blocking it, so they set that out there so they could walk along the edge and get to the next working area if they have their scaffolding separated.
Yeah, no, but why wouldn't why put it right at the edge of the board? Why not move to the center of the board? I don't see anything keeping them from being able to do that. Maybe the board
wasn't long enough. I don't know. Don't do this. Mr. Carl, last one for the day, if you'd be so kind.
He said the guy from the last one built it. Oh boy, that's
Yeah, this one took the cake. This one, this one, I think killed about half my brain cells, and I don't have any left to work with. So,
you have a lean-to. I'm not done yet.
We have a lean-to ladder, Jimmy rigged, and honestly, the pimp could have used this one for his daily DIY, because this is definitely a DIY. He's replacing a light bulb. I don't see this being in America. However, because in America you should have gotten a cherry picker, get out there, replace the bulb, and go on about your merry way. Now this dude spent time to build a Jimmy rigged lean-to that is just thrown together with whatever he could find, it looks like, in order to support his ladder to get up there. It's all wood, so I mean, it's not like it's going to hold it that well.
Looking
All
like he
his-
just threw a stick up everywhere he could just to try to get as much rigidity as he can. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to where they're at. He just threw them up there.
Exactly. There's no real pattern, and his support's like in the middle, but all the weight he has is at the top.
Hmm.
So it also looks like he's using the truck bed itself to support the very end of the ladder.
It also kind of looks like there's someone down there holding it too.
yeah, just behind that light post. But I mean, what good are you gonna do?
Right?
Like, if those boards go, the ladder's not gonna slide backwards. It's just gonna go, and he's gonna slam the concrete from 25 feet up.
How a geometry teacher changes a light bulb.
So, please, for the love of God, don't be this guy ever. Annoy your boss, get the right equipment out there, and do the job the right way. Even if this saved you an hour from the truck having to get out there.
It's not going to save you any time doing this because, like,
Exactly, you had to throw all of this together
there's
and pray it actually held up.
and then a lot of these boards that are nailed on there, like, how did he get to that area? Like, did he have a ladder to do that, or like what? Like, this would have taken. I mean, obviously it's in a foreign country, so they probably, like you said earlier, they probably actually don't have access to cherry picker or whatnot. But this wouldn't save you any time on anything. This would cost you more time and effort.
Exactly.
Plus, and if it's in a foreign country and they can't, afford the tools that they need to actually be able to get up to that light bulb, that means they're probably also hand nailing this entire thing, and that would be just a bitch too.
Yeah. So no time was saved, but you definitely put yourself at risk.
Hmm.
And those, Mr. Carl, thank you very much. Those are our OSHA violations of the week. Moving on, Halloween is coming up. It's right around the corner. But this Airbnb host offers guests a chance to be mayor of hell for the day. On October 2nd, a resident of Hell, Michigan. Yep, basically. October 2nd, a resident of Hell, Michigan is offering the chance to be mayor of hell for one day by renting out a specially outfitted lair on Airbnb. John Cullen, the self-proclaimed mayor of the town, which has no official mayor, said his mayor's lair, tiny house, will be available for 3 one-night stays that come with the unofficial title for 24 hours. I am the biggest Halloween fan in the world and underworld, so I hope that our little slice of paradise can fill fellow Halloween lovers with all of their frightful chills and spooky sensations of the season. And to our guests and soon-to-be mayors, I trust you'll find there is no more place more welcoming than hell on earth. We can't wait to show you a hell of a good time. The mayor's lair includes a queen-size bed, Gothic-style sitting area, fire pit, outdoor movie screen, and supply of locally grown pumpkins to carve. The property is listed for the nights of October 18th, 21st, and 24th. Each stay costs $31 in honor of the Halloween taking place on October 31st.
See, it's in Michigan.
Yes.
They're trying. They gotta put some effort into trying to get people to go there, especially this time of year. Because who the hell wants to be in Michigan in October? Like, so yeah.
Now we're gonna get into our weird stories, and I do mean weird.
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 It's a weird word, no?
Alabama, so Florida's cousin. Huntsville, Alabama, police find penis and testicle in man's home after he cut off a man's testicles.
So he cut dude's balls off, and then they show up and they find the cock and balls at his house.
Yes, they did. Ryan King, 27 years old, from Huntsville, Alabama, allegedly arranged an online meet with a 26-year-old man at his house on Thursday. Police allege that the other man traveled several hours to have King satisfy his castration fetish by removing his testicle.
Okay, so this was like legitimately, dude had a fetish to be cat. What the?
Shush. King allegedly studied the surgery on the internet and brought medical equipment and anesthetic with him before removing one of the man's testicles at his request. It is alleged that the wound could not be stitched up sufficiently to stop the bleeding, and an ambulance was called. Following a search of King's home, police found a penis and another testicle in his freezer. No complaint has been made to the police in regards to the other genitalia, and detectives are probing who the appendages may belong to. King allegedly used a cryopen, which releases nitrous oxide under pressure to remove lesions such as warts, to cut off the testicle in the incident that has landed him in court. After King removed the testicle, police alleged the man flushed it down the toilet. King will face court on Monday with grievous bodily harm with intent to maim.
So, this just baffles me. There's like actually dudes on this planet that have a fantasy of being castrated, having their cock and balls cut off, and there's dudes who actually want to do that. Yep. And it's a common enough thing that this person has actually found multiple of them.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? And why is he storing it in his freezer?
I don't know.
So you pissed me off bad enough to cut your balls off. I'm going to hang them off my radio antenna like a squirrel tail. Well, I mean, in the sense of pissing someone off, and you're like, you know, they piss you off so bad, you cut their balls off. Well, yeah, this doesn't seem to be, because like that was going to be my initial question. Like, so, like, how badly did, you know, this dude get pissed off to cut someone's cock and balls off? But nope, this was because it was fully requested for and wanted and desired. And I'm just like, why does that even exist? Like,
yep.
So is this a fetish? Like, so fetish?
Athen, I don't know, and honestly, I don't think I want to know.
Well, I'm just like, so the fetish is to be castrated. Does that mean they want to be transgender too? Is that? I'm assuming like maybe that's the reason for the fetish. Like, hey, I want to be transgender, but I can't afford to get my cock and balls cut off. So here's a dude on the internet that's willing to do it for me.
He'll cut it off. He ain't gonna flip it inside out for you, but he'll cut it off.
I'm just like, all right then.
Yep.
Or maybe they just want to be a eunuch.
That's possible. I don't. I like having mine.
Yeah, you know, they are a fun device to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Hours and hours of endless fun.
Yep. Never gets boring. Now, Athen, look at the clock. What's that time say?
What's that? What time?
What's the time say for our show?
3:58.
So you'd agree we're about halfway through the show?
Yeah, fairly.
Okay, so you know what time that means it is, right?
What's what time?
You know what we agreed to last week, right?
Yep. The vote's over. We have to tally up our votes.
Well, I did that before the show, and I've been trying to watch for anybody voting today. However, as you mentioned, it's very slow today, so there aren't really going to be votes. On the post I put on our Facebook, we only had 3 votes. 2 of them were for you, and 1 of them was for me.
Yes.
So that leaves our final tally at 9-7. That black licorice is bad.
Yeah, it wasn't a blowout, but
no, it was not a blowout. So, hope you like having your hair dyed pink for a month.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Yep. So, next week, plan on dyeing your hair live pink.
Sounds good.
Try and get all set up to where you can actually do this while we do the show.
I'll have to work out the logistics of it.
Yep, that's going to be on you. You're going to have to set up in your bathroom for at least a little bit.
So, we'll figure it out. We'll get her done.
You have no idea how happy I was to win this. I was so concerned when I saw those 2 votes pop up for you. I'm like, oh no, I might be in trouble here.
There are a lot of people who like black licorice.
Yes, but apparently not enough to vote for you.
Well, or we just didn't get a wide enough reach around, but it's okay.
It's okay. So
I don't mind.
Next week, look forward to Athen dying his shit pink live on at 1700 somewhere.
It's 1700 somewhere.
Now, also, Gunny, I got to set you down for a little bit. I have been whoring myself for Head Shave Club. No, we're not actually making money off of this yet. However, he did send me a little goodie pack. He sent beard oil, which actually smells really good. I would show that, but I can't explain the smell. But I did want to show what Walt from Head Shave Club does send you when you order his product. And again, this is for bald men or women if you want to shave your head. This is the halftime razor. So it's got 6 blades on each head. And what you do is you stick your middle finger through it, and you basically rock it over your head using your middle finger to tell what area needs to be shaved. So instead of just going one direction, trying to get it all, you can actually go back and forth rather quickly. And Walt does have a video on his Facebook that shows him shaving his head live. And he's done in like 10 seconds. It's really quick. So if you do shave your head, if you want to shave your head, I fully recommend this product. I've got to figure out how I'm going to use it. Because I'm not bald.
You use it when you shave your ass.
I don't shave my ass.
Why not? It's all the rage, dude.
Yeah, but I don't have anybody looking at my ass, so I'm not gonna spend time to get a mirror down there and like, all right, let's figure this out. So please go give Walt some love. We do have a link on our Facebook that sends you to it. If you use that, it shows that we have given him shout outs and love and shit like that. It goes to a referral program and gives us credit. He throws a shout out for us every now and again. He also sent a beanie, beard oil, razors, and some shaving cream, which is a cream. It's a cream. It's a clear cream, like a lotion, and it does help with razor burn. Like I don't have any bumps on my. I did use it on my neck. But I'm not irritated, so highly recommend it. But again, I'm not bald, so I would like somebody that is bald to use it, and give us a good review about it. So please go check them out. Jesus, dude. And let us know what you think about it. Now for our next weird story. This was October 8th. A priest was arrested for having a threesome with corset-wearing dominatrices on the church altar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I saw an updated update to this story. Apparently, the church had the altar removed from the church and burnt.
I wonder why.
The desecrated altar was removed from the church and burnt.
Oh, it was definitely desecrated. It was definitely desecrated.
Did you see the video, Cameron?
No, I did not.
Cam rocks a taint mullet.
A Louisiana priest was arrested for allegedly filming himself having sex with 2 dominatrices on the altar at his Catholic church in a report on Thursday. The priest, identified by NOLA.com as Reverend Travis Park, was busted after a passerby saw the lights on later than usual and peeked inside St. Peter's and Paul Roman Catholic Church in Pearl River. The unidentified witness saw the half-naked priest having sex with 2 women who were dressed in corsets and high-heeled boots. The altar was also adorned with stage lighting, several sex toys, and a cell phone mounted on a tripod to record the act. The witness took the footage of the unholy trinity to the cops, and then he was later arrested along with his 2 altar servers, 41-year-old Minnie Dixon and 23-year-old Melissa Chang, and booked them on obscenity charges. The women told the cops they were at the church to film role play with the priest. Cops determined everything that went on that night was consensual, but arrested the trio on the obscenity charges because they were in view of the public.
Oh, that's just a reach. Because I was gonna say, like, that's not. I was gonna ask what the charges were, because how is that illegal? It's like a church is
technically a church
property.
Depending on how they get their money, because some churches fall under a public property.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that could be iffy there. But I would assume most churches are going to be a private property, and unless it's one of those like big old huge mega churches.
Yeah.
But like, private property, and the church is, he's inside doing things on his own time. I can't see, I'm like, how is there a criminal offense here? It's like, I can understand
his property. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if the church was
Unless he's
owned by an
trespassing.
individual, they could be, well, the girls are definitely trespassing. He was a reverend there. The girls, however, were definitely trespassing, if that's the case. But they were seen naked by people. So that means if you want to have sex, close the windows.
I mean, but what if, and actually, in all honesty, as long as you're on private property, I don't think that so much matters because technically you can go out into your front yard completely butt ass naked and do whatever you want as long as you're on private property.
No, you can't, because if you're seen by children, that's still indecent exposure, and you're going to get hit with a sexual
Indecent exposure, indecent. Well, because it also depends on the intent. So if your intent is to expose to children and all that stuff, then yes. But if your intent is not to do so, it has to do with, I think, sexual intent. So if you're out in your front yard, boning someone down and people see you, I think that would be, that would fall under indecent exposure. But if you just want to go out,
I think if they want to get you with something, they're going to get you with something.
Yeah.
So it's better just like.
But I think if you want to just go out in your front yard and be butt ass naked, as long as you're on private property and you're not doing anything for a sexual type of thing, there's nothing wrong with it.
I'm
pretty sure that
I'm not going to risk it. So
because I saw a news story or something like that about this where there was a person who would go out in their front yard completely butt ass naked, but the cops couldn't do anything about it because he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was on his property, and it wasn't a sexual type thing. He just went outside naked and went back inside naked.
Why don't you try that out for us, Athen, and let us know how that goes?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't live on private property. I live in an apartment, so it wouldn't work out very well for me.
No, it would not. Now, we're going to make fun of the military real quick, specifically somebody that was getting out of it.
Y'all need a blue check mark for being an educational institution. Because Dean Cerny was like, I was today years old when I learned the plural form of dominatrix.
Hey, man, we're here to entertain and make you learn something. We're going to learn you well. Now,
if your house is on fire and you were in the shower, you're going to need a team of attorneys. See, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. Context, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not risking it. But this Marine stole a rocket launcher, a functional rocket launcher from Camp Pendleton, California, after it was recovered during a routine traffic stop last Thursday in Liberty. The stop was initiated by Precinct 2 Deputy Constable John Tucker in front of AutoZone in Liberty. The driver of the vehicle, a U.S. Marine who was with just 4 months left to serve, reportedly told Tucker he was going to give the rocket launcher to his stepfather as a gift.
So, I know, so as far as this goes, there are I can't remember what they're called, but they do have launchers. They're tube launchers that are single fire. So it's like as soon as they use them and the round's been discharged, that launcher then gets discarded. And I've known,
looks like it's multi-use.
I've known Marines who had those, the ones that had already been used, they had those and they kept them as like a souvenir and stuff like that. So I'm like, is it because they do look like they're, an actual rocket launcher, but they're single fire type things. So they're, keep it simple, dummy mode, even Marines can do it type thing. So,
but continuing on, I guess buying your old man a shotgun isn't good enough these days. Tucker told Blue Bonnet News. The vehicle was stopped for a minor speeding infraction, just 6 miles over the speed limit. He walked up to the vehicle, and I always say the same thing to people as I approach them. Are you traveling with anything illegal like rocket launchers, hand grenades, or machine guns? The guy who then told me he had a rocket launcher in the car. I don't know why you would admit to that. I mean, it is a Marine.
Well, and then did the cop say that he legitimately walked up to the car and said, do you have anything illegal like rocket launchers?
Yes, he said that is his normal phrase he tells people.
Just
pulls them over to break the ice, make it not as a tensive situation.
Maybe the Marines like he's joking. Maybe he'll think I'm joking. Like, yeah, actually, I got a rocket launcher.
The guy
Conflict.
that
Oh fuck.
Yeah, the guy that told me he had a rocket launcher in the car. Tucker said, I thought he was joking, so I explained to him that I always say that to people when I approach the vehicles. He told me again he had a rocket launcher in the car. Seeing that the young man was serious, Tucker handcuffed and detained him while searching the vehicle. In the back seat, he found an AT-4 anti-tank rocket launcher. It was not decommissioned, meaning it still had its firing mechanism in place. However,
Okay.
there were no ordnances in the vehicle for the rocket launcher. Tucker explained that he radioed for dispatchers to contact the ATF. The ATF asked Tucker to photograph everything: the driver, his license, and identifying information, and the rocket launcher. A few moments later, Tucker said the ATF had notified him that through a check with Fort Polk, it had been discovered that the rocket launcher was stolen from Camp Pendleton, California. They told me not to let him go. They didn't have anything on military equipment to hold him on. The feds will be taking over the investigation if there is one. Tucker said, I don't understand how something like this made it off the base without someone knowing about it. I don't know how he was an American citizen on paper, but we do not know that he was an active Marine, he said. For now, the Precinct 2 Constable's office has the rocket launcher under lock and key while a decision is made on where it will be sent. Constable's office displayed the item at Tuesday night's National Night Out event in Dicetta. People from the community were interested to see the rocket launcher up close.
That's really interesting, I guess. I don't know. Like, how did it get off? How was the dude able to steal that, dude? Like,
he had to convince him, like, hey man, I'm leaving in 4 months. Let me walk out of here with this rocket launcher.
because he said he didn't. Was that?
Yeah, I just like
Oh.
the only way talking to the people that actually maintain the weapons, I can only see it being like they let him out of the base.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it said it didn't have any munitions with it, so it was an unloaded AT-4. But still, it was a working one. And he got it off base.
Yep. Yes, he
That's
did.
interesting.
So Marines may be the crane eaters of the group, but they know how to get some shit.
Right? The best I was ever able to get was I got a full mop suit and a gas mask. I traded a PlayStation 2 for it.
I managed to get some caps for the breathing system, some cam sewage pump, ball bearings. What else did I get? Oh, I got one of the electrical outlets. I still have that thing somewhere. Badass. Nuclear rated. Love it.
Nice.
Yeah. We're going to do the booty for Biden story. So a social influencer offered nudes in exchange for votes for Biden could face prison time. In Los Angeles, California, YouTuber and internet personality Tana Mongeau, I have no idea who this is, could be facing legal trouble for following allegations of vote buying. Tana took to Twitter to offer nude pictures of herself to fans who vote for Joe Biden in the campaign she dubbed Booty for Biden. In a since deleted tweet from September 30th, the social media star offered naked pictures in exchange for votes.
So
if you send me proof you vote for Biden, I'll send you a food.
there was on the last election, there was a person who was offering blowjobs for people who voted for Trump. So,
but she was like a famous actress or porn star or some shit.
Yeah, but it's still the same.
Money.
But it's still the same exact.
I agree.
Concept. She didn't get in trouble for it, so
No,
why is?
I think she should have.
Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm getting. Like, why is this person getting in trouble for it? That person didn't. I mean,
because
and that's
she
even
doesn't have the same amount of money. You couldn't buy her way out of getting in trouble.
And that's a even more of a grievous thing. Like I'll suck your dick if you vote for Trump. I'll send you a picture of my titties if you vote for Biden. Like I'm kind of befuddled on this entire situation. It's like since it's for Biden, she's getting in trouble for it. It seems like, I don't know. This is just, it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it, but I don't know.
Don't be stupid and try and buy people's votes. I mean, plain and simple.
And she's a Instagram influencer, so she's probably got some pretty good money, because if she's an Instagram influencer, that means she's probably also doing TikTok and YouTube.
And
right?
she said she was receiving thousands of messages on her OnlyFans requesting her nudes.
Okay, and OnlyFans. So yeah, she probably got some money then, because if she's doing YouTube, or you know what? Actually, I'm thinking if she's got OnlyFans, then she's probably got some of the more adult stylized stuff too. But if she's got a YouTube and she's running YouTube, you know, some of those influencers on YouTubes are freaking driving around.
She's even quoted saying, "My naked body is doing so many things for Biden," which is a very
so
I wouldn't want that dude anywhere near me.
I don't know. Some people, I don't know.
So don't be stupid. Don't try and buy votes. I mean, she's attractive. I'll give her that. But like, I'm not going to sell myself for your nudity. Like, I can go find whatever I want to see online fairly easily. It is apparent that she didn't look into the legality of her statement before incentivizing fans to vote for Biden. Federal election laws outline that offering things in exchange for voting is illegal and could result in jail time. Whoever makes or offers to make an expenditure to any person, either to vote or withhold his vote, or to vote again for or against any candidate, and whoever solicits, accepts, or receives any such expenditure in consideration for his vote or withholding of his vote. Which means anybody that offered to do this, offered to vote for Biden for her nudity, is also likely to be tried for this. I mean, but that's thousands of people. I don't see them. I think they're going to go after her and let it be a message to the others. They shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if the violation was willful, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. So this was obviously willful. So she's looking at least 2 years, or at most 2 years in prison, as well as a fine. Now the star is changing her tune after realizing the legal trouble she could be facing. In another tweet on Tuesday, she claimed her actions were not an electoral crime, as she didn't influence voters. Yes, you did. It wasn't. I only received people telling me what they wanted to do. You don't need my ass to tell you who to vote for. I lost YouTube verification because I accidentally fucked up uploading in the back end on my account. It's back now. Fuck the news. So I don't think she should have had her YouTube back at all, because we say fuck on YouTube and we can't get monetized. So, but you're offering to sell your news on YouTube.
Saying fuck and stuff like that is kind of gray area on YouTube. It depends on context and all that stuff. The reason we can't monetize on YouTube is because they changed their monetization stuff, so you have to have more views and shit like that in order to be monetized. So it's all shoots and ladders. But the channel used to be monetized until they changed that.
Hopefully we can get back to that. Yeah, don't be stupid. Don't offer booty pictures for votes. Now, Athen, I've got your last two stories here. You want to cover them?
No, you can go ahead and do it.
All right. Well, we're going to cover the broken condom. So a man has received a 4-year sentence for a rape violation by piercing a condom before they had sex. Andrew Lewis, 47, was accused of rape after puncturing a condom before having sex with a woman. And he has been sentenced to 4 years behind bars, and the woman said his act was pure evil.
So I'm gonna throw this out there right off the top. How is this considered rape? Because women do it, and I've never heard a woman being charged for rape for poking a hole in a condom.
They lie about being on the pill. They lie about having their tubes tied. But a man punctures a condom. The sex was clearly consensual. So they did have sex, but he did so with a faulty condom.
So it's like that. I'm just, how is that even? And maybe the article will actually go into it and explain it. But how is that?
This is a fairly old article.
Okay.
2018, March 10th, 2018. However, on October 2nd, 2020, Lewis was given 4. So 2 years he's been waiting for this. According to the prosecutor, Glenn Samuel, the woman has found the pen along with other punctured contraceptives in a drawer next to the bed. When she saw the Pierce condoms, she immediately checked the one they had used and saw the man had previously made whole. The victim claimed this act was pure evil. In Lewis's defense, Lynette McClement said he didn't intend to get the woman pregnant, but to enhance the intimacy in the relationship.
Huh?
Yeah, so that's what their claim was. He was trying to make it more romantic. However, as Judge Cole, who was sentenced the 47-year-old man, said the victim made it clear she did not want a baby. While she had been given consent for the sexual act, she was demanding Lewis should use a condom. Therefore, his deed was a breach of trust. I can agree with that. I can agree with it's a breach of trust.
I can too. I mean, I fully agree with, it's a fucked up thing to do. But what my point is, women will do this often. They'll puncture condoms so that they can get the person pregnant because that's their way of putting them on lock.
There's a comedian, a British comedian, fat, not even funny woman, who talks about this. She says, you can tell a man you're on the pill, get pregnant, and then receive payment for 18 years, and there's nothing they can do about that.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a joke. That literally ruins people's lives. They go from owning or renting a home to having to live in an apartment not even meant for one person.
Mm-hmm.
They can barely get by. They're having to work ridiculous hours just to support everything. And the women are spending this money on shit that's not even meant for the kids. They're spending money on their nails, their hair, alcohol, their tobacco. They're spending, I think with child support and food stamps, you shouldn't be getting luxury items. You shouldn't be getting a new purse. You shouldn't be getting new clothing unless it's for that kid.
Yeah, 100% agree.
That's if you want to talk about breaking trust, that's one of them. And in cases where it comes to who's going to take custody of the child, most of the time, I want to say about 85% of the time, the man's going to lose custody to the woman unless you have proof that the woman's just incapable or she's a drug abuser, she's an alcoholic, she's got just a criminal record. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, you can't win that. I only know of 2 men that have one custody of their children.
Yep. And another fucked up thing about it is like the child support system is just so ridiculous because like I, for example, pay $500 a month in child support for one kid that I haven't seen since he was 8 months old because my ex ran away with him. Right. And I actually have 2 kids now. Well, not 2 kids. I have my son with Desiree and then her son, Michael. And the 2 of them don't cost anywhere near $500 a month to raise. So how in the fuck is it so expensive for my other son and all that stuff? And I'm just like, that's ridiculous.
I've seen one case, the guy was paying $500 a month to support his child, but the woman came after him for more money, took it to court, and the court deemed that she didn't need that much, and she wound up getting like $284 a month. So there are some cases out there where the guy wins. I've seen one case where a guy gets child support from a woman, but I don't. If you don't get to see your child, but once or twice a month, you shouldn't be paying that much money at all.
Yeah,
that's an insane amount of money to throw at a kid that you have nothing to do with.
Child support kind of bases the amount of child support that you're going to pay off of how often you see them. So if it's a situation where you see them at least half the time, then you're only going to have to pay half of what they would think should be what's necessary to pay to raise a child. So, but, for one kid, $500 a month, I'm sorry, that is ridiculously, that's a high cost because I'm raising a 7 or an 8-year-old now and a 12-year-old, and $200-$300 a month at most is what it costs for them, and they're happy kids. They have their own TV, they have their own PlayStation 3, they have phones, they have computers,
So I don't think I don't think this should have been a rape allegation. I think this should have been a really quick divorce or, a rape relationship's over. It doesn't say if they were married or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see him having to be a registered sex offender.
Yeah, that's kind of rape. I don't understand. I guess because he's then have the sex at that point is non-consensual. Like having sex with her was consensual, but as soon as he crossed that line of doing puncturing the condom, which she didn't want, that made the sex non-consensual. So then I suppose technically you could call that rape. However,
I guess so.
But it's like my biggest thing on it, my biggest hang up is why the fuck don't you see women getting freaking charged for rape like this then? Because, like you mentioned earlier, the joke, they can say, yeah, I'm on the pill and not actually be and get pregnant and all that stuff. And that's lying. That's not, that's breaking the consent. So that should technically be rape. You should be able to have them charged for rape.
Yeah,
or
not have to pay child support.
Yeah, or
because she lied to you. You did the act and she lied, so she doesn't deserve any money. She's gonna have to deal with that pregnancy herself.
Yeah,
you lied to me. If you lie to me saying you're on the pill or your tubes are tied, you get pregnant. I want to say I'll do the right thing, but I know myself, and I'm going to be agitated as all hell. The fact that you lied to me and broke my trust like that, I'm not gonna want anything to do with you at that point in time.
Yep. And Dean Cerny over there in the comments, he said, child support is a second income for hoes. Yeah, I mean...
There's a joke saying that Cardi B makes music for women who think that getting pregnant and getting child support are making money moves.
Yep. Well, and you figure...
And then you look at the child, and it's like neglected half its life, and it grows up twisted in some manner, and you wonder how it got there. Like, well, it didn't have a father figure to help raise it, and its mother was so concerned about making money moves by getting pregnant and getting child support that she didn't care about the kid.
Well, yeah, and it's like, and at that point, that's when things start to kind of crumble, and the mother starts to lose custody of the kids because of that fact. It's like, now she's just running a baby farm to make money. Yeah. You have 4 or 5 different kids from different dads, and, now you're making... getting child support, and you're getting $2,000 or $3,000 a month.
Always like, you're gonna have to work for this to get me. Like, no, did every other guy you have kids with work for it? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. But then at that point, they're making, they're bringing home $2,000-$3,000 a month from child support. So it's like they're not gonna want to work, and that money's not being spent on the kids, even though there's no way in hell it's gonna cost that much money to raise the kids. But even still, so $2,000 or $3,000 a month for having 4 or 5 kids with different guys, and then it starts to break down because obviously she's just using the kids for the money she's getting from child support.
Yeah.
So,
and she's showing her butthole on OnlyFans as well. So.
Yep. Yeah, using her $2,000 or $3,000 a month to buy cameras and lights and all that stuff and show that brown eye.
Yeah. This is the society we live in. This is and women wonder why good guys are so hard to find. We're afraid of being abused and used like this. That's why. That's why most of us come across as assholes, because we don't want you to get attached and do the same shit to us as other women have done.
Mm-hmm. So Dean said his brother's baby mama got like 6 kids.
Oh, Jesus.
Are they from different dudes, or is it like same dude? Like she got 6 kids and 7 baby daddies, or I know.
We need to know. That's insane.
Because, that is kind of insane. I do know like a couple of people like that 4 or 5 kids and 4 or 5 different daddies. But
now on for our last story for the day. So we are going to end a little earlier than normal. Athen found this story. Athen, the article you sent me is, another universe existed before ours, and energy from it is coming out of a black hole, says the Nobel Prize. There was an earlier universe before the Big Bang, and evidence for its existence can still be observed in black holes. Sir Roger Penrose made the claim after recently winning the award for breakthroughs in Einstein's general theory of relativity and proof of the existence of black holes. Sir Roger argues that the existence of unexplained spots of electromagnetic radiation in the sky, known as Hawking points, are remnants of a previous universe. It is part of the conformal cyclic cosmology theory of the universe, and it suggests that these points are the final expulsion of energy called Hawking radiation transferred by black holes from older universe. Black holes are a region of space where matter has collapsed in on itself and has such a high gravitational force that not even light can escape it. Such an event may be occurring in the center of our galaxy. Reinhard Genzel and Andre Getz, who shared the Nobel Prize with Sir Roger, offered the most compelling of a supermassive black hole in the middle of a Milky Way. There is a possibility that the timescale for the complete evaporation of a black hole could be longer than the age of our current universe and therefore could not be detected. I claim that there is an observation of Hawking radiation. The Big Bang was not the beginning. There was something before the Big Bang, and that something is what we will have to see for in our future.
So lately in like science and all that stuff, there's been I've seen a bunch of stories with like theoretical physics and all that stuff, talking about how there's potential that black holes aren't actually like a death trap like what we think they are. There's actually lots of thought that black holes might actually be a
wormhole to another area,
to other dimensions. So if you go into a wormhole, you'll enter another dimension. With this,
Now I can bring a religious aspect in this because in religion and science there are points from each grouping in each other. Now, before, if you read into the Bible and if you read into like mythology itself, before the Big Bang and before light was created, in darkness there was something there. There was something evil, and that could be the other universe because again, light can't escape this. It's going into pure darkness. So honestly, if that's true, and we look at it from that aspect, black holes are absolutely terrifying, and I would never want to fly into one.
Yeah. So
because I don't want to end up in complete darkness and then have something touch me inappropriately, and I can't see what it is, and now I'm in a different universe, and something wants to cuddle.
Yeah. So, and there's all kinds of thoughts on this. So, because the multiverse, multi-dimensional universe, and all that stuff is like fairly well supported by theoretical physics. It's like actually, that's one of the things that theoretical physics is trying hard to get evidence of is a multiverse type thing. So, and this is one of the effectively ways, I guess you could call it, that it could actually be like a multiverse. So and I heard it mentioned in the article, it's cyclic. So, there's a period of rotation where a Big Bang happens and then the universe goes through its curve and then disappears from existence again. And that's another thing in theoretical physics, that the universe will eventually end. So it's going to stop expanding and it's going to end up collapsing in on itself, which would bring us back to another point of another Big Bang. So, and that could be the multiverses, and black holes are gateways into those other universes. Potentially.
I hope I'm dead before that.
Huh?
I hope I'm dead before that.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna be for billions and billions of years. So, but
with how 2020 is going, we could have skipped a couple billion years.
Right. Well, and there's also other theories on how the universe will eventually die. So that the universe expanding beyond a point of its ability to expand and then collapsing on itself is one, or just at a certain point, the universe is going to just die. Like the stars are limited. There's not an infinite amount of stars. There are only so many, and there's only so much stuff to make so many stars. So at a certain point, it's going to get to where all the stars will have burnt out and died. So there will be no light. There will be nothing. Everything will be cold and black. And, at that point, where will humanity have expanded to? Will we be, effectively a transformed ourselves into AI because there's lots of things that. But yeah, so
You're nerding out on me here.
a little bit. Sorry, but yeah, there was that. Let's check the. Oh, Dean, he said 5 are some other dudes and 1 is my brother. Okay, so it's 6 kids, but from 2 different people. So, I mean, that's not as, big of a thing. It's like, so was with someone for a while, they had kids and it didn't work out at a certain point, and, that shit happens. Now, a woman out there with 6 kids and 6 different dads, you're like, I'm sensing a problem here. That's a red flag like a motherfucker.
Yeah, if you've got 5 kids when I come into a relationship, I'm getting snipped.
Well, I mean, that I'm not going to worry so much about because of the fact if they're all from one person.
I don't need any more kids to take care of. 6 kids is enough.
It all depends on everything for me. So there's a big variance in that. It depends. Like,
but it was really calm and quiet today. It's kind of disappointing. Normally we have more viewers. I wonder what's going on today. Ugh.
It's a lazy Sunday, middle of October.
Yeah, it's getting to that point.
Just
put us on in the background. Just let us run and talk while you do shit. I don't care.
Oktoberfest is pretty soon, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the next week.
Yeah, because Oktoberfest is usually like your Winterfest, so it's gonna be around the 20th, isn't it?
Yeah, so it should have started. No, yeah, about next week. Oh well, ladies and gentlemen, that I've got no more stories. Athen, you got anything?
I don't have anything, no.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, all 3 of you, thank you for coming out on this lovely Sunday. Hopefully, we can have some better views next week.
Oktoberfest 2020 is canceled.
Well, Athen's disappointing. Please give us a like and a share. Well, a reaction and a share. The like button really doesn't do anything for us, but give us a reaction and a share. Let us get out there. Let us bring laughter to other friends you have. If you think it's funny, if you think we're annoying, whatever.
Title.
If you find us educational or entertaining, let us know in the comments. If you have any articles you'd like to have us covered, any OSHA violations of the day, or any this is why we can't have nice things you want us to make fun of, please send it to us in our Facebooks or in our Discord. We have that link on our Facebook as well. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And as always, it's 1700 somewhere.
And we had Shadow Schroeder from Twitch over there commenting. He said, "What is the dot over the letter I called? A tittle." Bye, everyone.
Yeah, cut us, Mr. Carl. It's time for the show to end. You can kill it now. If you're happy and you're not, clap your hands.
Tick, tick.
Happy and you're not. Come on.